Tell me about your childhood, your upbringing.
Middle, working class. Grew up in Canton, Ohio. Went to a Catholic school. Catholic upbringing. Was an altar boy. At 7 years old, I knew I wanted to fly for the Air Force. We did a Father's Day airplane ride right over here at a little grass strip in a Cessna, and I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. And later that was in June. In July, Dayton had an air show, and we went down to Dayton, and I was, I don't know the word, in awe, enamored, in love. We were on a C-5 Galaxy, which at the time was the biggest aircraft. And I'm just like, yep, this is cool. This is the coolest thing. And, back in the 70s and 80s, it was, you had to get your information from encyclopedias and libraries and stories and television. And I got into all that. I got into the military stuff. My dad was a National Guardsman in Ohio, 65 to 73. I was enamored by that. Rocky Blyer's story. I was always too little to play sports. I tried. I did my best, man. I did my best and loved baseball. My dad never played catch with me because he was embarrassed. He didn't know how to throw. So instead of just throwing, he just wouldn't do it. So I had to warm up for games with my mom and off the side of the garage and things like that. It was very lonely for me. I didn't have a lot of friends. Didn't have any friends on the street. I was bullied a lot. Spent a lot of alone time. I remember being corrected a lot, but not told how to do it correctly, if that makes sense, right? Like you're just wrong. That really jacked with me for a very, very long time. And I don't like to be corrected now, right? Like I don't like to be corrected. If I say something, I know it and I mean it, and it's a burden, man. It's tough. It's tough. So.
Well, it's kind of weird with the statement you ended, that you don't like to be corrected, but you went to the military where the whole thing is do as I say. It's your childhood. Do as I say.
Do as I say.
If you're wrong, you're wrong. Don't ask me why. Obey.
Right. Yep. That's how I did it for 23 years.
It's crazy. So I don't even think it was your dad played a role, obviously.
Sure. Oh, my dad gave me my love for cars. Let's get that out there. Right up until the day he died, he could recite his cars, right? His first 5 cars. And that was the thing that he and I would always make sure that I would talk to him about his cars, right? Because I knew my dad was still in there then, right? He had a massive brain injury in 75. Hit both sides of his head on a Chevy Love truck in a car accident. And he was jacked. And we know now that that's a traumatic brain injury. Then it was, hey, somewhere down the line, he's going to not be himself and he's, probably going to get Alzheimer's dementia. That's what they called it back then. And that generation, he wouldn't go to the doctor. He wouldn't learn anything about himself. He's just, no, I'm just going to keep pressing on, right? And I think with him passing and me understanding that he didn't know any better, that makes me want to learn if I have a TBI, right? Because I've banged my melon a bunch of times. And, a lot of the stuff that I see with guys with TBIs, I was able to zoom out and say, you know what, I have those kind of issues too. Let's see if maybe that biking accident at 12 when I flipped over the handlebars and wound up in the hospital and hit my head, let's see if maybe that had something to do with it, right? Let's see if there is a brain injury, and let's learn how to avoid those things and work with them and get some tools. So I think all of it has an impact on who you are right now today, right? All of it. And if you're going to sit back and blame, you're never going to move forward, right? You're always going to be tied to that well, my parents treated me this way, so it's their fault. Well, no. In spite of that, you are now here, right? You created yourself, your reality with what you were going through. And now you're here, right? So what are you going to do with it? And I'm babbling. I forgot what your question was.
Oh, you're good. No, it was about that, right?
Oh, the military. It's very weird that I would try to, I think it was, I knew at a young age I wanted out of the house, right? And to be flying. And I wanted to be a pilot. And at 16, I couldn't. I had bad eyesight. I was already at its maximum. And I told you downstairs, I was little. I was 5'3", 110 pounds when I graduated high school. So 18 years old, 5'3", 110. Like I was too little for the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps told me, you're too short. You don't meet the height requirements. Like you can't be a Marine. And I went,
know that.
yeah.
I know there was height requirements.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, there is. For the Marine Corps, at least there was. I think there was. I mean, it was the 80s. It wasn't like I could get on my phone and, is there a height requirement for the Marine Corps? Right? Like, I don't know. But you just do you just go. So I went to the Air Force and my dad said, I'd really rather you use your head for something other than target practice. That's the only thing he told me about joining the service. Yeah, I remember.
So you won there.
So I went to the Air Force. And I couldn't be a pilot. So I decided I would be maintenance. Aircraft maintenance somehow. I took the ASVAB, blew it out of the water, could pick any job. And I picked electronic warfare on fighter jets. So 9/11, Storm 1, Gulf War 1, August of 1990, they invaded. And I was down at tech school in Mississippi. And the war was over by March. And in April, I went to George Air Force Base in California with the 561st Fighter Squadron. I was the first new guy in 3 years. They had no idea how to treat me. And immediately I got put in a vault and told to read classified technical orders for days until I had them all read. And I just did it, right? I fit in with that. Tell me what to do and I'll do it. I just fit in, right? And it worked for me. Yeah, I did very well in the military. I feel like I did.
It sounds like it.
I was very focused on not fucking up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, do what you're told, get it done, make the mission. Like, there's no excuses. I broke my back at 19, man. I went back to work 3 days later, right? Climbing all over fighter jets. And I did it for another 22 years in the service, not knowing my back was even broken. Like, you just kept going. You don't find that a lot anymore, man.
No.
You just don't. So it was a very hard adjustment because in the civilian world, they got requisitions and this guy's got to sign off on that and this guy's got to sign off on that and it's got to go here and there and you can't get anything done in a fast time and you're stuck sitting around. And especially when you join the government, like I worked for the FAA after I got out. I started working in the FAA in like 2005, I think. And I was a reservist in the Air Force. So my whole life was military and government and rules and regulations. And man, when that's over, there are no rules and regulations now. I get to do whatever I want and that can go either way, right? So the last couple of years has been pretty hard on me, man, no doubt. Mentally, right? Learning to adjust with my own physical capabilities, my own mental struggles, right? The loss of my dad. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind.
Well, that's perfect, man. You keep ending right where I want to pick up. I was going to ask you, how has the Air Force changed you mentally?
how has the Air Force changed me
Good or bad?
mentally? I think it's a lot of both, right? And that depends on who you are, right? But for me, it showed me that height didn't matter, right? And these are all revelations that have come now. These weren't coming when I was in, right? I was hell bent to not fuck up. I was hell bent to party and work hard, play hard. I rose to the rank of E7. I was a first sergeant for a little bit. I think, man, you're 23 years, dude. 23 years I was in. I was a ground pounder on the flight line. I was a flyer for the Air Force. I've been in both ops and maintenance. I was a first sergeant for the crew chiefs, which, shout out to them boys, because they're just the hardest working dudes in the Air Force. I don't care what anybody says. We're out there in all kinds of weather, the heat, the cold, the wet, the rain, the snow, all to get them airplanes ready for the operation to go. And they bitch like your mother-in-law. They work like a dog. They party like nobody's business. And they give you the best damn airplanes in the world. And they are just the best guys. I don't know how to sum up 23 years and how it affected me, good or bad. I think it has to all be good because it led me to right now, right? Like it all brought me to right here. Every experience,
Well, I didn't know if because we were discussing before, you wanted to take your car off the road. I didn't know if the military life or anything you dealt with there was some of the cause to the mental distress.
I got you.
We obviously people who go to the military, they come out, they're one of a kind, man. Their work ethic, all that stuff, you get a lot of good things from there.
Sure.
But I'm wondering if any of the mental stuff that you maybe dealt with there was part of the cause to alcohol, to just the mental health stuff.
No, I don't think so. I think my issue with drugs and alcohol stemmed from my own childhood, to be honest, right? At 7, I remember being in a doctor's office and my mother saying in tears, I can't control him. And I got put on Ritalin, right? Like I was deemed a hyperactive kid. And this is like 78, man, right? And I remember these drugs just slow me down. And I mean, I got through school. I got A's. It was way too easy for me. Like I didn't really feel like the classwork was hard. Getting through life at school was what was hard for me. Being alone was always easy, but when I got older, I didn't understand life. I didn't understand emotions. I didn't know how to process those things. My dad would always say he doesn't get excited because then he's not disappointed when it doesn't work out. And it took me many, many years, like just recently, to understand that that's a horrible outlook on life, right? To never be excited. So I didn't know what those things were. That was the man. That was the guy that I followed, right? And then you've got his father. And his father came over from Austria in the middle of World War I. At 6 years old, they snuck out in a false bottom hay cart. They rode on a steamer ship and they signed a book at Ellis Island. And his father had left them for like 3 or 4 years to build a life here in Ohio, to make enough money to go back to get 6 kids to come here. And he didn't speak English and he worked his ass off. And I have the news article from 1916. And I would look at that and I would see my grandpa struggling, and he didn't speak a lot of English, but when he did speak, it was broken and it was cool. And I loved him. He had multiple strokes, multiple heart attacks. His right side was damn near paralyzed, but that man would go out and walk and force himself to walk with no cane, no walker. He hated that shit. And then my dad with his car accident, and he just, they don't talk about it. They just keep going. And I never knew how to process emotions. Nobody would talk to me about them, right? I remember growing up, not understanding why a girl wouldn't talk to me or treated me a certain way. And the only thing I could do to get my mother to come talk to me about it was cry like a girl in my bedroom. And that took about 15 minutes. And I would scream, and she finally came up, and I would tell her that, and she just goes, "There's plenty of fish in the sea. There's plenty of others out there." And there was no discussion, no discussion whatsoever. It was, bam, here's your life lesson, move on. And you're like, well, wait a minute, what am I doing wrong? Right?
Yeah, you wanted understanding.
Yeah, I didn't understand me. Like, you're telling me I got to go to a doctor and take a pill because I'm too much for you, right? That's what I felt like. And you lock me out of the house and tell me I got to be gone from like 9 to 5, and it's summertime, so I'm climbing trees and I'm out. And back then it was the child should be seen and not heard,
yeah.
Right? And I can remember, being petrified of making a noise or making my dad stand up or have him sigh or anything like that, and just being terrified of the man, but also being in awe, right? Like, that's my dude, right? That's my dad. And we'd go to swap meets and things like that. But you talk about the struggles came. The struggles came when I left the house, and my drinking started right away as soon as I left the house, because I saw others doing it. I thought that's what I needed to do, if that makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. To be social, you needed to drink. Well, this is 44 ounces, and I drink probably 6 of these a day, and it's water. I do that with everything I drink. For some reason, it's fast. I always have it. And as soon as I picked up a beer, I thought I had to have as many as I could in as short a time as I could. I just always pound them. And I would black out immediately, right? Not immediately after one beer, but my drinking has always been a blackout drinking, right? And that's how I dealt with things. And I thought that was just normal. So that lasted until 2008, and I put down the drinking, and I focused solely on not drinking, right? Just not drinking. I didn't focus on the emotions. I didn't focus on I just did everything, right? Push it down, move on. Push it down, move on. It's just shit that happens, move on. I don't think the emotions came until I left the military. Well, I can tell you that the suicide attempt was a year after retirement. So retirement was 2015, suicide was 2016. And I can tell you that I'm not drinking. It's been 8+ years. I'm still an asshole. I acted just like my dad, right? If what you're talking about doesn't interest me, I have no business talking to you, right? Like, it doesn't, fuck off. And I had gotten my rating from the VA. I was at like 90% or 100%. I can't remember what it was. I was getting back pay. I was very comfortable. I was okay. I thought I was okay. And then the VA sent me a letter that said I owed them $24,000. And it went all the way back to 2005. So 10 years. And I freaked. They took my entire benefit for the month. I had just bought a truck. I wasn't going to be able to make house payments, truck payments. I was losing about $3,000 plus a month in the benefits. And, you know, my fault for misappropriating my own funds, right? Counting on certain things. Again, a growth now. But I didn't know how to get out of it. And I called the VA, and everything I would say would lead me down the wrong hole, and nobody could answer it, and I couldn't stop the debit. It was going to be 6 months without a paycheck from the VA disability. I just had a fight with the wife, and she said the absolute truth. You quit drinking 8 years ago, and you're still an asshole. When are you going to change? So that right there was an inability to see what effect my actions had had on my own life, right? So I didn't know how to deal with that. So I went upstairs, I grabbed a $100 bill, loaded a 45, and said, I'm out. I was in tears. I hugged my kids. I said, I don't know when I'll see you again. I'm out. Daddy's got to leave for a little bit. And I was so selfish, so self-centered on look what everybody else thinks of me, right? My wife thinks I'm an asshole. I don't have any friends. I just lost $24,000. They're going to take the house. Well, if I kill myself, that's $400,000. She'll have the money, she'll have the house, and I won't be her problem anymore. It didn't strike me until about a year ago, maybe a year and a half. And we were watching A Star is Born, Lady Gaga and the other guy, that movie. And he kills himself at the end. And I lost it. I'm watching it with Trish, and I lost it. Because I felt it, right? He feels like it's his fault that she can't do more. And that's how I felt, right? I felt like that. I'm the one holding her back because I'm an asshole. And man, that thinking is just, it's fucked up, dude. It's bad, right? You call it the devil. It is. It's the thinking, it's the words that you're using to describe your own situation. And I believe that night, that Sunday, something happened in me that I'm not going to let myself live like that anymore, right? So I don't think it was ever the military. I don't think it was ever the experiences that I had. I feel like I chose everything I went to go do. I wanted to go see war. I wanted to be in war. That's who I wanted to go do. And I'll accept every part of it. And is some of it jacked? Yeah, some of it's pretty fucking jacked. But I asked to be there. Okay. You know what I mean?
No, that's unique. That makes sense. That's unique because most people, you know, their trauma and stuff comes from, oh, the things I saw, the things I did. Yours comes from just life.
Life.
The way of thinking from childhood to now, you know, and it, like we said, it's not like, oh, it's your fault. It was not being able to cope and to manage feelings. So then the things that you're thinking, you can't deal with either.
Yeah, I agree.
So over time, from childhood to adulthood, you know, your suicide attempt was pretty recent, you know?
I didn't agree with the way that I was brought up to believe, right? I didn't believe what I was taught to believe.
Yeah.
Right? Catholic upbringing. And you can believe what you want to believe. I will not fault anyone, right? But my experience inside the Catholic Church made no sense to me. It made no sense. And I fought it, and I tried, and I did it. I was the altar boy. I was the good guy, right? I did everything that I was supposed to do. I came back and helped when I was on leave. I did all those things for the church. And I go to Korea, and just before I get to Korea, my grandfather dies, 70-something years old. suffered. The same grandfather with the paralyzed arms. And I get over there, and in January, a 25-year-old friend of mine dies in a car accident. He's married to my cousin. 3 months later, on Mother's Day, another 25-year-old is killed, and he's dating my sister. And I'm just like, this makes no sense. This is not making any sense to me. You cannot tell me that this God of Catholicism does this to people. This doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you make my grandfather suffer for all those years to take away somebody at 25? Like, I don't understand that. I don't understand any of this. I searched and I searched. I went to Methodist. I went to Pentecostal. I went to Baptist. I went non-denominational. I searched and searched and searched for what I read. Dianetics, right? I tried to go into Buddhism and a little bit into Hinduism, just to try to understand this. Try to understand what makes sense to me, right? And I was trying to encapsulate the entire understanding of a religion, if that makes sense, right? So I can say that I don't believe in everything of Catholicism. I don't believe in everything of Lutheranism. I don't believe in everything, right? There's parts of all of them that I can believe. Mm-hmm. My own experiences, once you're mature enough or you're ready to be yourself and let go of that upbringing, let go of that belief system that you've been trying to hold on to, I think the battle happens in your head. At least it did for me. And if you don't know what to do with it, you can flip out. And I think that's what happened to me. Like, everything I was believing about who I was supposed to be was not true with who I actually was. I was trying to be a tough guy, right? Shit don't bother me. Life is just life. Suck it the fuck up and move on. And I couldn't do it anymore. I could not do it anymore. So I just started changing the way I see things. I changed perspectives. I learned that just because the way my father talked and I was taught to believe doesn't mean I can't believe that way. It just means that my life is a little bit different and I see things a little bit differently. That's all that means.
Yeah.
And it's okay. It's okay.
That part. Because we're all individuals, man.
Right. I didn't get that part, man. I didn't get that.
God isn't constructed inside of all these different religions. He's a relational God, right?
He's in here.
Yeah, he's a relational God. He's about wanting a one-on-one relationship with you. We don't have to fit into that cookie cutter, well, this is what the Methodists do. This is what the Catholics do. This is what the non-denominationals do. And then everybody's looking at everybody like, well, you're wrong if you don't do it this way. Mm-hmm. When God's just like, I want you. I don't want you to follow these traditions. Because that's all that those things are.
That's it.
It's traditions.
That's it.
They grew up with those traditions. Your grandfather grew up with traditions. Now they're trying to pass down traditions to you. Traditions are traditions. You don't have to keep them. You can create your own.
Right. Right.
And that's where a lot of people struggle with the topic of religion, right? Is we put God into the box of this category because that's the religion we were brought up in. And I don't agree with this traditions. So therefore, I don't believe and I don't like God no more. When God isn't these things.
No, not at all.
Yeah. So that's good that you came to that realization. And
for me.
Yeah. And it takes time, right? It takes time. We got to give ourselves grace.
I'm 53 years old.
Yeah.
Right? Forced into retirement due to physical inabilities anymore. Right? That's a hard word to say for me too, disabled. I don't like that word because I'm not disabled. I am very able. I just can't do the things I used to do. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
And I would say part of the reason that word bothers you is because, there's some stuff that you said earlier that resonated with me because I was diagnosed with ADHD and all that stuff at a very early age. By kindergarten, first grade, they couldn't give me anything in kindergarten, but first grade, we're experimenting what works,
Drugs, man.
But
and
they call it a disability.
Yeah. It's not a disability. It's you.
So that's why you're triggered by that word, is because from childhood to even now, you're like, there's always something saying that I'm disabled. I don't have this ability. I'm not disabled.
There's something wrong with me.
Yeah, I'm just me. There's nothing wrong with me.
There ain't nothing wrong with me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with me.
That part. And you got to have that understanding. You got to know that. You got to have that perspective. Otherwise, like we've continually talked about, those thoughts will eat at you because of what everybody else is saying.
Yeah, they will beat you down. And you will believe. It's a control thing. It is an absolute control thing, I believe. I believe it is a control thing. Religion, medication, pharmacies, it's all a control thing. They want you to feel like there is something wrong with you if you don't do this. Mm-hmm. And when it don't work for you, man, you're just like, man, all right, well, I don't fit in anywhere, so I'm out, right? Bullshit. You're trying to fit in everybody else's thing. When are you going to learn to fit in your thing?
Yeah.
Right? When are you going to do you? Right? I like to garden. I like to grow things. I like roses. I like flowers, tomatoes. I like to sit and play video games. Right? I like to cut my grass. I like to go to the races. I like to be involved. I like to be around people. I fought all of that for so long, right? Because I thought if I went out in public and I can't drink, I'm not gonna be a good person. I thought drinking is what you had to do. Now that I don't drink, I notice more people that don't drink, and you go hang out with them, right? I really think that the judgmental. I saw Catholicism and my parents and my upbringing. Let's just put it that way. My upbringing. I felt like my upbringing was incredibly judgmental of everything else, right? That's what I thought, right? Like you can't have another opinion. This is the way it has to be. There's not another way to do this. And it jacks with me. I mean, it jacks with me now, right? Because there are other ways to do things. There is other ways to believe. There's two cameras sitting here right now, right? None of them are pointed at you. But there's two different perspectives of what I'm saying right here.
Yeah.
And whether 100 people hear it or 100,000 people hear it, they're all going to have their own perception of what I said. Every single one of them. But I said it. That's it, right? That's my reality. I can't fit in for all of you.
Yeah.
Right?
And you can't control their perception. But, still on the topic of religion, but what you said is what you said, right?
Right.
What you said is what you said. And God's word is the same. What he said is what he said. Everybody's interpretations doesn't mean it's right. But what he said is what he said.
What'd you tell me when we had breakfast last week? What's the words you used of what the Bible stand for?
Oh, the acronym?
Basic instructions before leaving Earth.
Yes.
That resonated with me. And the reason that resonated with me is because we had just been talking about how I said the Bible was fallible because it was translated by man, right? And that the Bibles that are in use now were edited and books were removed and passages because of kings that felt that didn't need to be out there, right? Well, why did they do that? They did that for control because it wasn't what they believed and they didn't want anybody to not be the same as them. I can't get into that, right? I can't get into that at all. But the basic instructions before leaving Earth, I can get behind that one. Okay, right? I can get behind that. I ain't got to believe all of it. But there are a lot of good things in there. There's some good instructions. There's some good life lessons. There's some truth to all of it. The fourth and fifth steps, right? Taking a total inventory of yourself and those that you have harmed. And then 5, be willing to admit those faults to another human being, right? And God. So I think that being able to admit your wrongs, right, and grow from it is paramount. I don't think it has to be a priest, right? Yeah. I don't have to pray to a saint to ask for permission to go talk to God. That's not the way that works, right? You can't tell me God's too busy. And I believe, this just hit me the other day, God is here, right? And it doesn't have to, it's just the higher power, right? And I'll choose to call him God. It doesn't mean it's the way that I grew up understanding God. It means that that's how I understand God now. That, for me.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's all of us. We're all growing in a deeper understanding of who God is. We do that with people.
I've been so afraid to just say that, though.
Yeah, we do that with people, though.
Yeah.
I met you really recently, and we're just getting to know each other better.
Yep.
As you continue to do that, our understanding of each other will grow, just like your understanding of God will grow as you begin to have that. That's why I said that personal thing with him.
Acceptance.
You know what I mean? So that's beautiful, man.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
So now that we know for sure that obviously the military didn't have these negative effects like they do on other people, right? We came to the conclusions, childhood, your own thoughts, your own decisions. That's where suicide came from. That's where the addictions came from. How did those things then affect your marriage and the way you parented?
Incredibly structured, but all three of my kids got a different version.
The perspectives.
All three of my kids got a different dad, I think. And I think it's just a life progression, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, we talked about chapters and turning pages, a couple weeks ago. And you said that the military didn't have anything to do with the PTSD. And I don't think that's true. I think my experiences in the Air Force and in the military and the places that I saw, the destruction, the death, the orphans, right? It gave me a better appreciation of what I have here. Okay? I know that there are worse places to live, right? There are worse situations to be in. I've been in them. They were temporary, and I'm through them. And that is life. Every day is temporary, right? My marriage next week will be 25 years. I met her on a blind date 8 weeks after my divorce. I was not looking to do anything. I was leaving with the Air Force. I was stationed with AWACS out at Tinker. My aunt said, you should come home before you go to Turkey. I said, nope, not doing it. I'm leaving, I'm taking off. I came home October 3rd, I met her. And I left like October 21st or something for Turkey. And I think I was there 6 weeks. I did the holidays over that. She came out to visit. Like, she got baptized by the military life right away. I was delayed. I was delayed like a week out of England and Germany or something. She had a plane ticket. It had to be changed a bunch of times. Like, she just got baptized by it all right away. And she's been through all of it with me. Man, she's been through the alcoholism. She's been through the suicide attempt, the military, the FAA, constantly being on the road. I was not always the attentive husband or the attentive father. I can honestly admit that I was not a good dude, man. I didn't like myself, right? So that's gonna affect the way that you parent. That's gonna affect the way that you're a husband. The first 8 years of our relationship, we were separated for over 4 of them with either activations or military time or FAA time. I didn't retire from the military until 15. So we had been together for 18 years. We did 4 deployments married. I don't know how many I did while we were dating. The day we found out we were pregnant with my son is the day we got activated 3 hours later. I left 4 weeks later. I left when he was 8 weeks old for 2 months. I left again after that for 4 months. While I was activated, I got hired by the FAA. Like, she's been there the whole time, dude. The whole time. Tiffany was adopted, or I adopted Tiffany when she was 7. Met her when she was 2. I was very hard on Tiffany. She was different. It was definitely difficult. She was a learning curve, we'll call it that way, right? Like, I was a strict asshole with her.
She's the oldest?
She's the oldest. She's 30 years old now. Yeah, she's an Air Force Thunderbird crew chief now, man. She's kicking butt, man. She's actually the #1 this week.
She was your practice child, though.
She was a practice child.
She was your practice child.
She was a practice child.
That's what they always say about the first, right?
Yeah, well, that was me too, right? So I was the oldest too, or I am the oldest. And Julia came along, and I was wrapped, right? She had me from the moment she was born. So she kind of got away with a whole lot. But I tried to raise her to be tough, right? Like, life's gonna suck, and you need to be able to do some things, and don't ever count on a man, and you need to be an independent woman, and those kind of things. And I had a really hard time when she was in high school because she's a teenage girl, and I don't understand that stuff, right? Like, drama, and she said this, and she pushed me, and right? And I don't understand any of that stuff. She was a cheerleader, and I don't get it. And now she's a cosmetologist, right? And does nails and hair. But that's my kid, man. You know, that's my real first one, biological. But Tiffany's a mini me. Tiffany's got so much of me in her, and she doesn't have any of me in her, you know, but I'm the one that took the time with her.
Yeah.
I was there, right?
It shows what type of impact you can have. That blood only goes so far. It's a relationship.
She called me in basic. And she said, thanks. Thanks for not giving up.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got a stepson, so I know that meaning, you know, how much that would mean to you. You know, you put your all into it, and they might not feel it, you know, as kids, especially looking back. And I understand, because we were all kids. Like, they don't see the effort. They don't acknowledge the effort. They think nothing of you. And then one day they think everything of you.
Everything.
And that's when you lose it, because you're like, okay, you grow up as an adult trying to raise these kids, and you think like, oh, nothing I'm doing is working. Nothing I'm doing matters.
Would you just listen?
Yeah, they're not listening. I'm not getting through them. This is all pointless.
I don't know how to talk to you.
and then they grow up and they're like, I get it now.
I get it, Dad. I get it. I get it. And then you got my son, and I got to have a boy. I don't ever want him to know what it was like for me to not know if my dad was proud of me. So I tell him every day, and I hug him, and I give him everything I didn't get. And I just hope it's enough.
It's enough. It's enough, man. You know, the lifestyle you grew up in, you know, it's similar to mine, you know, minus the military. But you realize that people think like, oh, just be present.
They're so tough.
And that matters, right?
So
Being
tough.
present matters. But it's the relationship you build with them. It's your words.
Yeah.
It's you showing you care, because there's
Please
so many
talk.
stories of people being present.
Please talk. Right.
But we're distant. You're here, but you're not here.
Yeah. That's how I felt.
So your kids might be able to say, okay, my dad was gone because he was in the military, but when he was here, he was here.
Yeah.
And that's why you have the impact you have.
Yeah.
With not only your kids, you know, with the things you're doing now. Because it's not about just being present. It's about being personal.
I have a very hard time accepting any accolades or appreciation, right? Because I think it's just something you're supposed to do as a human being. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to help people. You're supposed to inspire people. Supposed. Edit that out. Supposed to. I think that's what you're supposed to do. I think that's the meaning of life, right? You're supposed to help others. You're supposed to give them a helping hand, right? You're not supposed to beat them when they're down, right? You change their perspective. You give them hope. You let them know that you did it, right? And while it wasn't easy for you, you still did it, right? I did it, and it was done, and it's over. And I'm moving on to something else now, right? I can't remember who said it, but the line goes something to the effect of the easiest and best way to face your demons is to turn around and fight them fuckers head on. And the way that I interpret that is, if you're fighting a demon, it's typically a feeling or an emotion for me, right? The emotion of losing someone, the immediate impact of seeing a devastating sight, walking up on someone who has committed suicide, a tragic accident, anything, right? What you're fighting, or what I would fight, would be that initial emotion. So that demon is that emotion, and the negativity that you spoke to yourself at that moment. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, what should I have done differently to prevent this? And when you can turn around and face that and be 100% true to yourself, the answer is there's nothing you could have done to prevent whatever you just saw. There's nothing. There's nothing. You can't change it. There's nothing. You are but one piece of a giant picture that you had no idea what was going on in those other influences, right? You just happen to be that one piece. It wasn't you. People are so quick to assign blame to things. And it's not a one thing. It's not a one person. It's not, there's a chain of events that always happen, that always lead up to something. It's never just one thing. And turn around and face that shit. And if that demon is you in the mirror, then change the way you talk to that son of a bitch. Right? Tell him, I ain't listening to you no more. If you want to call that the devil, then call it the devil, and you tell him, I ain't listening to you no more because I think you're wrong. In fact, I know you're wrong. I beat that shit. I beat that bottle. I didn't get beat by it. And I don't have to feel that way no more because that's not true. This is true. And you fight like the third monkey on the ark, man. You fight, right? And you beat that son of a bitch down and you say, you're not true. It's not right. You're wrong. I'm tough. I'm a badass. I don't care what you have to say. I'm happy with me, right? I like me. And if I don't like me, then I'm the only one that can change it. So I'm going to do that. And that's what I did. That's how I do it every day. Some days are good. Some days are better. But ain't none of them bad. Ain't none of them bad.
That's good. That's good. So what I hear you saying is, this is the way you cope. That this is how you cope with these traumas, with these losses, with these demons that you're battling. It keeps coming full circle. It's your perspective.
Perspective, bro.
And if you don't believe your perspective, talk to yourself until your belief changes. Speak life to yourself. Speak life to the situations until you believe differently.
Right.
Because your situations, like you said, you don't have any bad days. Your situation might not even be bad. It's the way that you're thinking about the situation that's making it bad.
Exactly. Exactly.
So the way that you have coped and the way that you have dealt with suicide, with alcoholism, with everything, is the changing of your perspective and the way you speak to these situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's powerful. That's powerful.
Thank you.
Because everybody thinks like, I just got to try hard. I got to do more. When really it's just, you got to think differently.
I'm going to get a drink.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Don't let me forget that.
So where we were at was, it's not about doing more.
It's not. That's what I thought, right? I kept doing more. Just keep going, right? Pile more on. Fit more into your day.
Stay busy so you don't
Stay. Go, right? What ended up happening to me was I was unable to give my all to the things that I was doing. You would get a part of this, right? I wouldn't have my full attention on what I was doing. And I would get overwhelmed incredibly easy, right? Like, I'll fit you in here, I'll fit you in here, I'll fit you in here. And I'm running myself ragged. And that ended up to me committing to things outside of what were truly important.
Yeah, outside of purpose.
Outside of purpose, right? My wording, I know it's not yours, but I was giving out too many fucks, right? A lot of us military, I hang out with a lot of Marines. Yeah. That's how I got my nickname, Flyboy, from a bunch of Marines. So they talk about 0 fucks given. That's something that they say a lot. And it can be taken to an extreme, right? Like, I don't care about anything else that's happening except my life. And that can be good and bad. But where I was going with that is I was giving out. You only have so much that you can give, right? And if you give everything away, if you're giving your time, which is your most important commodity, if you're giving your time and yourself out here, what have you got left in here to give to yourself, right? What have you done for you to make you feel good? Now, service before self has always been me, right? I never thought about myself. I volunteered for every trip. I did everything because my philosophy was always, I'm never going to ask somebody to do something I can't or I wouldn't do myself, right? So I'm always going to do, I am willing to do whatever I asked you to do, right? But I spent so much of my days worried about other people or other things and not what I was giving to myself, just what I had to do. I was worried about work. I was worried about how they weren't doing this and they weren't doing that, or they're doing that over there, and why is he doing that, and why does he get away with it, and why am I not? And I was so focused on not getting in trouble every moment of the day and never focused on the good of the day. It was always just the next thing. It was just the next thing. And Trisha convinced me of this maybe, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago. We were talking about Dad and how it was weighing on me because by this time he couldn't get up anymore. He couldn't walk. It was very painful for him. It was a big struggle. And I had to clean out their house. My dad was a hoarder, a pack rat, thousands upon thousands of magazines, napkins, paper towels, old brass doorknobs, just scraps of wood, just a bunch of stuff, right? And it weighed on me. It really, really weighed on me. And I told her one day, she asked me, why can't you just sit still? And I said, because there's always something to do. There's always something to do. And she said, I think you're confusing being content with being lazy. And man, that just kicked me right in the cajones, just doubled over. One of them light switch moments, realizations that, hey, jackass, you have been working all this time to build what you wanted. When are you going to sit back and go, I did that, and I want to enjoy it now? And you look at your stuff that you built and that you did, and you're okay with it, right? You're not picking out the negatives. You're not picking out that I screwed up that corner, or that piece isn't level, or that, you know what, I broke 6 drill bits on that piece over there, or that damn floor is not straight, or my deck is a quarter inch out at 12 feet. Like, you're not picking apart all the negatives. You're actually sitting there and enjoying the deck and the sunshine and the floor that your wife absolutely loves, or the room that you built for her, or whatever it is that you've done. You can relish, relax a little. You can say, yeah, I did that, right? Like, give yourself some credit, bro. Like, for real, give yourself some credit. You did those things. And she's not wrong, man.
Yeah, that was great advice.
Can't confuse contentment with being lazy.
That was great advice, man, because it goes back to, like, I know why you brought it up, because you think you got to do more.
You think you got to keep doing more, and you can't. And I'll give you a perfect example, and it's a great segue. Safe 22. When I attempted suicide, it was 2016, and like I said, I didn't know what to do, so I went to an AA meeting. I went to that AA meeting. I cried for 2 hours with Randy. If Randy ever sees this, bro, you saved me that night. Like, thank you for being there. Thanks for answering the phone. Thanks for letting me cry. And just thanks for letting me be there. right? He was just there, right? And I got up the next morning and I called the VA and I said, hey, I attempted suicide last night and I still want to die this morning. What do I do? And I'm not kidding. And a lot of veterans are going to start laughing at this. And some civilians might be in shock. But the truth of the matter is, the girl on the phone, when I called the Canton VA and told her I wanted to die, she said, please hold. Please hold. That was before the Veterans Crisis Line. That was before 988. That was before all that stuff. So my sick, demented, dark humor said, all right, I just told you I want to die and you put me on hold. So I'm going to sit here and see who you put me through to, right? Like, all right, let me see what happens. I can't tell you what happened because I don't remember. I think I recorded a podcast on it, so it's on there somewhere, but I don't remember right now. And my thought process wasn't changing, right, for that whole week. I would just like, this fucking sucks. I'm fighting everything. I'm embarrassed that I tried to kill myself. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know how to get out of this VA debt. I don't know how to get out of any of that. And I called up Hacker. Hacker's a Marine. He rode with the Leatherneck group. I'd met him a couple times. I knew he had this organization called Save 22. And I called him. And I said, bro, I am fucked up. It has been a week. I still don't know what to do. I'm lost. It's a Saturday. I don't want to be here at the house. Like, I'm freaking out, bro. And he said, all right, get on your bike. I'm doing a poker run. We're doing it. It's called the Best Dam Poker Run. And we hit 5 dams in the Muskingum watershed. I got on my bike. I left. I rode with them. I stayed in the back the whole day. I didn't talk to anybody or nothing that I remember. And at the end, we ended at Atwood Lake. They had tents set up, like canopies. They had food. They had a band. They had music. And I felt out of place. And I felt, I like, this is cool. I'm glad you're doing this, but I don't know what to do here, right? I don't know what I'm doing. And he said, okay, are you all right? And I go, I'm ready. He goes, call me tomorrow. That's all he said, call me tomorrow. So I called him the next day, and I told him how I was thinking. That was a Sunday. And he said, bro, I have never thought like that before in my life. I don't know where to send you or what to tell. I don't know what to tell you, but I know a guy, and you might want to talk to him. So call him. And that guy was Tom Endorf. He's the founder. It was his idea to make this hike to raise awareness for his buddies killing themselves. And they had only been in operation about 6 months. And they'd only had one hike. So I called Tom. Tom said, I'll call you at 3:05. I leave Drop Forge at 3:05. When I'm in my car and settled, you have 35 minutes of my time to get home. And that man gave me 35 minutes every day for 5 days. And I would go up to my room and I would lay on my bed and I'd wait for his phone call to come in every day at 3 o'clock.
Wow.
Because I literally knew not what to do. I could not even take care of myself right then. And I had a wife and 3 kids and I didn't know what the fuck to do. And he just let me talk, right? He was there, he listened, he offered some of his perspectives. And that's what they did. That's how I got through it. You know, I talked, I listened, I got it out, right? And it made me realize that, you know what? Everybody's got fucking problems, man. Everybody has shit they can't deal with. Everybody has shit they don't know how to deal with. Everybody. You're not the only one, right? Okay, so what do I do? What do you want to work on first? Well, help me with this VA debt that I have. And he goes, okay, is it a debt or an overpayment? And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, there's two different things that they use. So he's got experience in the VSC, the Veteran Service Commission. So he knew what I was going through with this debt. And he got me in contact, or I saw a news article of James Powers, who went through the same exact thing as me with an overpayment / debt. And he was out of the service and the VA wanted their money back. And he proved that he was fighting them. So I called him. And for like 2 or 3 years, he and I are back and forth with DC and getting lines of law written to protect the veteran. And I got to talk to a congressman face to face about my plight and what had happened to me and how it went down and what could be done differently. And God bless, dude, like, and it all happened because I just decided to let somebody else listen, right? Let somebody else hear my problem, right? I didn't have to fix it myself. Somebody else was going through the exact same thing. And we made a change for the better, right? It's never going to happen again in the VA compensation system because of people like James and I that were willing to stand up and say, this is wrong, what you've done. You're doing it, you're affecting a veteran on this thing and it was no fault of their own, right? The veteran did everything right. The VA screwed up and didn't fix it in a timely manner. So now you want to punish that veteran and take their compensation until the debt's paid off. Well, you can't do that. You're impacting their livelihood by doing this. So now the VA can only go back 5 years. They have to do an investigation. If it is proven that the veteran did not knowingly or willfully mislead the VA into those payments, then that debt is forgiven on the veteran and the VA eats it, right? They also said they cannot take 100% of a veteran's award anymore. They can only take up to 25% until that debt is paid off. So the things that had happened to James and I will never happen again according to the law. And it's all because James actually drove all night long to be at Senator Portman's office, Ohio Senator, in DC when Senator Portman arrived. He drove all night long because he wasn't getting answers over the phone through the normal channels. My experience through that was I happened to be in DC working, and Senator Brown did what was called a coffee with constituents. And I was working with his veterans representative or liaison. She knew I was in DC and she said, can you come over tomorrow morning at this time? And man, I'm having coffee and a handshake with Senator Sherrod Brown telling him my story. And the next thing you know, it's on his Facebook page and it goes out to I don't know how many thousands of people. And I get phone calls like from other veterans and emails that say, man, the VA did that to my 94-year-old blind grandmother. They took her whole entire benefit. And I thought, man, I'm so lucky, right? Like I was able to correct the issue, right? I'm through it, right? I got through it. And there's a 94-year-old blind grandmother out there who would have had no idea that these letters were coming or what to do with that information. And that's not going to happen again, right? Like that's never going to happen to another person like that. So, you know, I don't even know where we were talking, but
no, we made a segue into Save 22, and
Save 22. Oh, meeting people, and you know, that happened that way. And then a couple years go by and I'm still fighting, right? I'm still fighting being myself. I'm still fighting leaving the house. I'm only focused on the shit here at home. And I don't want to go do anything. I'm never getting excited. I'm not happy. And Albert Wooden calls me up and he says, I think you should go to this racing event in Mid-Ohio. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? I want you to go as a Safe 22 rep, and I want you to have a good time. I'm like, no, I'm not going by myself. I'm not doing it. No, come on, man, go have a good time. It's a veteran-run crew. It's a former Marine. He's the crew chief. Go and have a good time, right? Go have a good time. I'm like, I'll only go if Trisha goes because I don't want to go by myself. Mm-hmm. Well, that Saturday, we go. And as soon as I get to the track, I am just all kinds of excited. Like, I'm good. I get to show my wife, like, this is the racing, right? This is racing. I am so excited to be back in the pits racing. I don't care what kind of car it is, right? I'd never been around these Indy style cars, these Formula style cars. I'd never been around an open wheel stuff. And I was right back in my spot. I was just happy, right? I was good. There was racing going on. There was conversations. There was people. And I realized I don't like being alone. I don't like isolating. I enjoy being out in front of people. I enjoy being around other people that enjoy the same stuff I do. And Brandon offered me a job. That day, he said, can you come back tomorrow? I think I want to offer you a job, but I got to see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'll come back. Sure, yeah, sure. Back into racing? Yeah, I'll come back. And I went back, and Trish didn't go with me, and I was pumped, and it was okay, and I was uncomfortable, but it was all right. And it just showed me that, you're torturing yourself when you sit here in your own thoughts, when you sit in that bullshit. It just makes you think that your life sucks, and it's not true, man. It's really not. This is a gift. This is amazing. The mathematical probability of you even being born is astronomical.
Yeah.
And you're here. And you want to be mad about it because of choices you made? Nah. I'm going to go choose to be happy. I thought the only way to do that was to keep working. So I took the job. I went down and I raced with these guys for 5 days at Virginia International Raceway. And we wrecked 10 times. And I fixed 10 cars. It was 5 cars, but they wrecked an average of 2 each time. A couple of them had to be rebuilt. In fact, there's the side pod to one of them. And I met this lady down there, and her name was Sonia Burkett. 5'1". I have to say she's 5'1", because if I say she's 5 foot nothing, I'll hear about it. Black lady, middle Louisiana, 5'1", and at the time I was like 275. I was fat. And this sweet little woman puts her hand on my chest, and she said, baby, there is something bigger for you. I don't know what it is, but I want to keep in touch. Can I have your phone number? Yeah. And I blew it off. Sure, whatever, here you go. You're not going to call me, right? She called me. 2 days. My husband is an award-winning audio engineer with like DuPont and BET and things like that. And I am a professional speaker, and I speak on mental health. And I think you have a story that needs to be shared. And here's what I want to do for you. We will teach you how to podcast or do Instagram or YouTube. We will edit it for you. We will teach you how to do those things to get you started. Here's what I want to do. And I went, okay, I guess, right? Like, I mean, I thought about it, but I guess it would just be like talking at an AA meeting, right?
No.
So I made a couple promos. I sent them to them. And they said, don't change a thing. Do this, start. Okay, so I did. And I started Johnny Mo Media and the Straight Talk podcast. And I did it for a couple, 3 years. Got like 65 episodes. I don't know, 6,000 something downloads. It got attention. I received an award from the FAA as Humanitarian of the Year for Tech Ops in 2023 because of it. Because of Save 22. Like, it's just all because I allowed myself to go be uncomfortable for one day.
Wow.
All because I said yes to go to an event. All because I said, I don't know what's going on with me, but I don't want to live anymore. All because I said, I don't want to live like this. Help me. All because I asked for help. If you looked at the whole thing, it's all because I asked for help, right? And it wasn't from the normal people that you think you'd get it from, the normal people that you turn to, right? Mom and dad, that's what I was taught, right? Mom and dad are going to tell you everything. They're going to get you through all that. And what they were telling me wasn't making sense to me. And I didn't know how to live that way that they were living. And it was not working for me. And I had to let go of that belief system. I had to let go of what I had learned, or what I thought I had learned about me and humanity, I guess. I had to let it go so that I could be where I'm at right now. And just take a fucking chance, man. Just take a chance.
It's beautiful.
Right? I'm so happy now. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's things I don't understand and I can't interpret right. Like, I hate text messaging. Text messaging and emails, I hate them. Because I can't seem to understand emotion and tone in those things.
I'm the same way.
Right? So I feel like I'm being attacked. And I tend to jump, right? And I tend to no, right? And I'm not going to be attacked. And I have to back away from them, right? And that's the upbringing, right? I don't like to be corrected. I don't like to be critiqued. I don't like any of that stuff. And that's not what people are doing. It's just my perception of what they're doing because of how I came up, right? And I have to be willing to say, I don't quite understand what you're saying right now. Can you say it a different way, right? Like, are you attacking me, or did I do something wrong, right? You have to analyze. I have to analyze those things before I respond anymore. And I don't do it all the time, right? It's a growth. It's a thing.
Yeah. But to even be aware is great.
But you have to be aware. Exactly. Let's have the awareness, the self-awareness of the things that I do that contribute to the situations that I'm in, right? Let's just be aware of how I contribute to those. And if it's my fault, bro, step 10, make amends right away. That was my fault. I'm sorry. Let's move forward. And just keep doing it. Yeah. I don't know where we were, man.
No, you're good. You're good. So obviously, since we went into Save 22, one of my questions was, what do you feel your purpose in life is?
What do I feel my purpose in life is? I think the purpose of my life is to be the best that I can, right? The best version of me.
For yourself, for others, for...
I think by being the best version of ourselves for ourselves, others will see it and want to be. I mean, that's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. I think if we're living our best, right? If we're trying to be our best, if we're giving it what we have every day and we're showing up to live life, not just living, you're actually living life, you're experiencing the emotions, you're going to see things, you're doing things. Are some of them going to hurt? Absolutely. Are you going to figure out, hey, you probably shouldn't, tempt a wild lion with a raw steak, right? Like, I'm only going to do that once, right? The purpose of life, my purpose in life is to live, man. To show my kids that life's going to be hard, to pass it on, my experiences, to teach my children that while my perspective is one thing, yours might be something different, and that's okay, right? You don't have to believe what I believe. I just want you to experience life and be happy, right? Go do what you want to do. Do you want to be happy? Go be happy. If that means you travel all over the world, then you go travel all over the world. If that means that you stay in the small town that we raised you in, then by all means, please stay in the small town that we raised you in. Just be happy. Don't have regrets, right? Try things, be uncomfortable, ask for help, right? It's okay to not know.
That's good, man. No, that's good. And I'll be honest, that was not the answer I was expecting. That was such a great answer. I was expecting.
What were you expecting?
As I was saying, I was expecting like something along the lines of like, what you do now? Save 22, about helping veterans, about
No.
about mental health, about suicide. So for you to say that, one, it's so good. It's so good and so true. And then it gives me, from our last conversation, right? Comfort and peace, knowing that your sole purpose isn't save 22.
It can't be.
Because that's what I wrote down. I was expecting that to be the thing from our last conversation. And one of my questions I wrote down is, who are you and what would you do if Save 22 wasn't here? And you already answered that. You'd be living.
You have to be living, right? Trisha reminded me of this.
That's beautiful.
That's where I was going about taking on too much. So in August of last year, our executive director and board president was involved in a serious motorcycle accident, and he shattered his leg. And he stepped away almost immediately to focus on his health. And he was concerned that things were going to fall apart. And I said, look, bro, I'm retired now. My dad's passed away. My mom's okay at the home. Like, I don't have to worry about my dad anymore. Like, I'll make sure, like, you just call me and I'll do whatever you need for Save 22 to make it work, right? And that went on for a couple months, and I said, you know what? I think I'm going to put in for the board president position, right? I'm going to ask to be voted in as board president. He said, are you sure you want that? And I said, yeah. He said, I don't think you're the one. And I said, well, let me give it a shot. I said, I'll give you 2 years, right? I made it 4 months. I took on everything Save 22 as a personal mission, everything. And everything was a personal reflection of me. My incompetence is all I saw. I had to back away. I resigned my position on the board after I found a replacement, and Michelle is doing incredible stuff. She has many years experience, I think over a decade as a board member, board president, with monies and finances and nonprofit work, organizational skills. She has all those things that I thought I could develop, and I realized that's not who I am. And I think part of human growth is understanding that while I never used the words can't and wish, there are certain things I just can't do, right?
I wouldn't even say can't. I would say there's some things that other people are just better at.
There you go. There
Right.
are some things that other people are just better at, and I realize that I'm not the one to be behind the scenes running that type of an organization.
Because it's about being in purpose. Your purpose isn't behind the scenes.
It's
Your
not.
purpose is to be the voice, the story, the let me help.
I think coming to that realization is still taking some time, right? Like we talked about Tuesday Talk, we talked about Straight Talk. I have in my mind like I'm an imposter. I'm not real. That's not really who I am. And that couldn't be further from the truth. That's exactly who I am.
Yeah.
Because I'm just sitting there talking and I'm letting everything out. And it's exactly who I am. And it's helped a lot of people. And I think that's the purpose of life, whether it's Save 22 or not, right? Just, you're not alone in this world, man. You're not. And my gift is to be able to talk about it after so many years of not talking about it, right?
Wow.
And
That's good. That's good.
whether it's with Save 22 or a podcast or a YouTube show or at the racetrack,
Yeah.
or the restaurant or whatever. I did have to stop wearing Save 22 gear when I don't want to be asked about Save 22. Trisha, again, you asked how the marriage was. She gets me more than I get myself. And I have to be willing to listen to what she says and process it, right? And understand, again, how my choices and my actions affect those around me. I was ignoring my wife to take care of Save 22. I was consumed by making Save 22 better, right? Changing this, doing that, adding to this, going here, going there. If my time, if my involvement with Save 22 ends up going away and I don't have it anymore, I'll be okay, right? I'll be okay because everything in this life is temporary.
Yeah.
Everything. Do I want it to be generational? Do I want it to be there when my daughter gets out and my daughter can be involved and the people and the friends that I've made in active duty who, show an interest in it? Do I want it to survive? Absolutely.
But your identity's not in it.
But what?
Your identity isn't in it.
My identity is not Save 22.
That's good.
No.
That's good.
She reminded me of that, right? Like you can't do it. There's an organization back there because he's my brother, and that's Kyle Killinger. He walked across the U.S. to raise money or raise awareness of mental health. And there's, Carson Brown Motorsports who don't want anything from us other than to bring veterans to the racetrack and experience those things. And Brad Brown, said he's in the philanthropic stage of his life now where he wants to give back. And I think that's where I'm at, right? I'm at a point where I need to share these things. I don't care if you listen or not, but I'm sharing what I went through, and I'm sharing what I'm able to share, right? And take people to things that I'm involved with that I like. And
who it's for is who it's for.
Who it's for is who it's for. It might not be for you, but man, it sure is for me, and I absolutely love it, right? And I'm okay.
That's awesome, man. I got one last question.
Yeah, bro.
And so I was thinking, for people who really enjoy and want to help others, right? Like, so you Save 22 and you guys, the suicidal hotline and all that. We want to help people. We want to raise awareness. How do I put this? People that want to help people always feel they could do more. How do you cope and how do you deal with the people that you still lose and not feel like, oh, I could have done more? Because it's not a matter of us. We already talked about it. It's not a matter of us doing more. We can't stop anything. So how do people like me, you, and so many others who want to help people, what is a good way, since you've been doing it longer, right? How do you cope and how do you not blame yourself and say, I could have done more, when it's not our fault, but it's hard to not feel that way? How do you cope with those feelings? Because I know you get them. You have to.
I will tell you the story of Alex Schaefer, Moto. Young kid, Army, Marine, deployment, married, kid. February 24th, this year. I just got back at 4 o'clock that afternoon from 2 weeks on the road with Save 22. Me and Albert, while I went to the Thunderbirds at Daytona, because my daughter's in the Thunderbirds, I went and stayed with her and had some Save 22 time with the Thunderbirds and brought a couple guys up for a couple races there at that weekend. Spent some time at Albert's house after that. Got called down to Atlanta with the team that we were with. They said, hey, we're going to run Atlanta. Can you get down here? Yeah, we'll come down. So we came down to Atlanta. That was on a Sunday afternoon. I drove home Monday, I think, 24th, whatever day that was. I can't remember. And I got in at 4. It had been a phenomenal couple weeks. A lot of impacts, a lot of hugs, a lot of tears. A lot of guys impacted, a lot of stories told. And at 10 o'clock, I got a phone call that he killed himself. And you think, what did I miss? What did I miss? I think you're always going to blame yourself for a little bit. But I think that what we did the next day is what matters. And we got on Tuesday talk at 10 o'clock the next morning. And we just talked about Alex, about Moto. I brought guys on in camera, big tough Marines who were crying. And we just shared it with everybody. And we all blamed ourselves, every single one of us. What did we miss? What can we do different? I'd like to say that that's the only time that it's ever happened, but it's not. I've lost a lot of guys, a lot of friends. And you just have to realize and tell yourself that it wasn't you. You did everything you knew how to do at that time. And, well, it's tragic that Alex ended his own life and he made that choice. His death might have saved 5 more. I don't feel responsible. I miss him. I know his friends miss him. I know his wife, his son, his mom, dad, uncle. Everybody that he ever impacted miss him. And we'll just keep talking about him, you know? On the other side of that coin, though, is when you get the guy that comes and says, I didn't kill myself last night because of what you said. And that's happened a couple times too. So you live for those moments, right? You don't let anybody that you think might be struggling, if you hear words that you've used prior to your attempt, or you've heard words of others that have completed the act, and you just put your arm around them and tell them, it's okay, I got you, right? We'll get through it together. Because that's what somebody did for me. Just pay it forward. It hurts when they don't reach out, when they know what you do, when they know about Save 22, when they know about your own struggle, they know your own story. Like, why couldn't you talk to me, right? I've been there, right? I know what's going through your head. You might think I don't, but I guarantee you I do.
I think it's like AA, man. You know, what they say is like, you gotta want the help.
You gotta want the help.
Some guys are struggling and they might open up initially, but deep down, they're like, okay, I didn't know where to go, what to do, so I opened up. And some people might even regret it after.
It's all in who you talk to. If you don't talk to the right person, the right receiver, if the right person doesn't receive it, they're not going to tell you what you need to hear. Right? If you get struck with, oh, come on, man, it'll be all right. It ain't that bad.
Yeah.
If that's the first thing that you hear, you're not going to want to tell them.
Yeah.
Because to you, it is bad. How selfish. How selfish.
Yeah.
Right? How selfish to think that your problem's worse than somebody else's. It's your perception, man. It's what you got going on. It's everything that you've built and you've tried to do, and somebody throws this monkey wrench in it, or this hand grenade that you think just took all of it down. And it's not true. It's not true. It's not, right? Like it's just a flat tire. It's a
good way to put it.
I can change it, right? I can put a new tire on, right? Even if my engine blows up, I can get another engine, right?
You only get one of these lives.
I can't get another life, bro. I can't. I got this one. And I don't know if this is going to sound honky-dory or what, but I don't know if we come back. I don't know if there's a next step. I don't know any of that stuff, but I gotta believe that if there is a God, that he wants us to be happy, right? He wants us to experience this life, all of it, the good and the bad.
That part.
And teach others, right? And give a hand up and not a hand out, right? I'm trying to help you, but you have to do the work, right? And don't get too involved, right? Don't get too emotionally attached to the person you're trying to help. Don't take it personal. I've been through the suicide training classes, suicide intervention, and the truth of the matter is, if somebody has made up their mind to die, there's nothing that you can do.
Yep.
And I'll look right in that camera and say it. There's nothing that you can do if they made up their mind to go. Nothing. But you can make the decision to not join them. And it sucks. And it's hard. And it can take a long time to change that perspective in your brain. It's been, September will be 9 years since I attempted suicide. 9 years. And I've got to walk my daughters down the aisle and see them get married and see my daughter become an Air Force Thunderbird and be one of the elite of the elite. She gets to wear a number 1 on her chest this weekend at the air show. She's the boss's crew chief. Like, I couldn't be, I'm so proud of her. And you got my other daughter who's a mini me and struggles with attention and mental health, and she talks to me about it, and she's married, and you know, they're doing their life, and my son's 20, about to be 21, and you know, he's looking at getting a house or an apartment of his own and moving out and, you know, maybe getting married. And, you know, the next chapter for me and the wife, the empty nest, what are you going to do? And I don't know, man. I'm going to do whatever makes me happy. And if that means that I do a podcast, or I go fishing, or I sit on my deck and grow tomatoes, I don't know, but I'm just going to keep doing it, man. I'm going to choose to wake up happy. I'm going to do everything I can to not be depressed throughout the day. I'm going to learn about my body. I'm going to learn about mental health and just keep going, right? I mean, it's just life, bro.
That's awesome, man.
I don't know if it's awesome or not. It's just me.
Life is awesome.
Life is awesome. It's pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool, the stuff, right? Like, you look back and go, well, how did I get involved in that? Well, I don't know, but I can look back and go, I've always wanted to be around race cars and motorcycles and airplanes. They've just always made me, it's just always been fascinating to me, right? I like games. I like certain games. That's okay. Right? That's okay. I told my son the other day, I said, man, you know, it's okay that you're not like me, right? It's okay that you don't want to get dirty and work on your car and do this and do that and get involved in racing. And that's okay. Because I really think, Jeff, if I hadn't have got involved in cars and racing and airplanes and all that stuff, I really think I'd have been that computer guy that you are.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, the personal computer came about when I was a kid, and I tried it, and I learned about programming back in the day with BASIC and DOS. All right, so that's how long ago I learned about it. And then life happened, and I kind of got out of it, you know? So I think I would be like him if the computers had come out and that's what we were doing, you know? But I wanted to be around race cars and airplanes and motors and smell and dirt and grime, and I wanted all that. And man, I've been from the local track all the way up to the Daytona 500. And
blessing.
Just what an experience, man. What an experience. This is, to be able to share this kind of stuff with you and get it out there. And I was always afraid that nobody would know who I was, because I was this little kid, 5'3". My nickname was Twinkie. Like, I was this big around. Nobody's ever going to know who I am. I'm just going to, like, damn it, I got more to give. People got to know who I am. And I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a narcissistic, arrogant kind of like look at me kind of way. But
you wanted to be a part of something. You knew you had something to offer.
I knew I had something to offer, right? Yeah, I think that's, you know, that's that whole Catholic upbringing, man, right? Like, no pride, right? Pride is a sin, right? You can't be proud of anything that you've done. You're just supposed to go do it and suffer and suffer down here. That's the way I interpreted it, okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the way they mean it to be, but that's how I interpreted it, right? Suffer here so you can rejoice later. I really struggle with that one, right? Like, you're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to. I don't think that any God would say, don't celebrate yourself and an accomplishment that you worked for, right? That you gave everything to. Celebrate that, right? Be happy, be excited. And I used to get I still get upset, not upset, but I don't like being rewarded for things, right? It's just stuff that I thought I was supposed to do. And I don't know. Shit, dude.
I get it, man.
I'm all over the place right now, man. You caught me.
I get it. I've been there, man. I've heard somebody say something, and it was exactly how I interpret it. I have a hard time accepting compliments, accepting the good. And, you get so used to rejection and to the bad that you're unable to celebrate the good because it's just like, get ready for the next bad thing.
Yeah.
And then over time, what happens is they both taste the same, good and bad.
Ooh.
So you don't know how to celebrate or be aware of either. It doesn't matter what's coming. Okay, something bad happened, on to the next thing. Life happens. Something good happens, who cares? Yeah, I'm president of the United States, who cares? On to the next thing. What's next?
Yeah.
You're always preparing for the next thing instead of being able to enjoy the moment, whether it's grieving, whether it's being happy. And when I heard a dude say that, man, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, that's exactly how I felt my whole life.
It is.
Who cares about what's happening now?
It's
what's happening next?
Emotionless.
Yeah.
Right? Give me the next thing.
Yeah.
Give me the next thing.
I was that guy that
So
you
was
said
I.
don't be. Suck it up. Life sucks for everybody. Who cares? You're being a girl.
Yeah. Don't let yourself enjoy it. And I can't do that anymore. I can't do that. I have to smile. I have to laugh. I have to celebrate with my kids. I give hugs and hard, deep hugs to the people I care about. Right? And when they get something, man, I look them right in the eye and I tell them, dude, good for you, man. Fucking proud of you.
Yeah.
That had to be tough, man. Like, good for you to stick it out. And when I meet guys like celebrities, right? My celebrities down on the racetrack and stuff, and you can just have a regular, normal conversation with them, right? Hey, man, that was a busy week for you last week. How you doing? How's the wife? How's the kids? Right? You getting through? You okay? It's been a lot of pressure, right? Are you doing all right? That's when you know they're human beings too, right? And I got to sit with an Indy 500 champion, a 2-time Indy 500 champion, and have a cup of coffee outside of a hotel room in Virginia when I went racing with Alliance Racing that week. He was my hotel neighbor. He had the room right next to me. And we shared a cup of coffee in the morning. We didn't share each other's cup of coffee, but you know what I'm saying. Not that kind of way. But we sat outside the hotel there on the stoop and had a cup of coffee and talked about life and struggles. And I didn't know these things, but he's a recovering alcoholic, right? He doesn't call it being an alcoholic. He says something alcohol usage syndrome or alcohol abuse, something to that effect. I don't remember. And another perspective, right? He's the son of an Indy 500 champion. He's an Indy 500 champion. Pressures of life, the father-the-son relationship. We talked about all those things, and you realize that the only difference between them and you is the choices that they made and the choices that you made. Right? That's it. They were born into a racing family and they got to go racing. And that's what he chose to go do. I was born into a first generation American family. first generation, right? And they were born during World War II, and times were tough, and it was hard, and they gave me everything that they could, and there wasn't social media, and there wasn't all this vast capability to get information as fast as you can in seconds, right? You had to figure everything out. You had to go experience it. You had to go do it, and the only way for me to go do it was to join the service. It got me out. And no, I didn't make a lot of money, and no, I don't have a lot of money, but what I am is comfortable, and I set out to do something, and that was retire from the military, and I did it. It wasn't the way that I wanted to do it, but I did it, right?
Still an accomplishment.
It's still an accomplishment. I wanted to retire from the FAA as a government employee. Why? Because I spent a lot of time, 19 years I spent with those guys, right? I wanted to go until I couldn't go anymore. Well, you know what? Circumstances dictate I had to go early. So I retired. Not the way I wanted to retire, but I retired and I got what I wanted. I don't have to go to work anymore, right? So I can turn those things negative. I can turn those into failures like that.
Yeah, that's true.
Or I can say, I got out of the military when I wanted to. I made the choice, right? I may not have made the choice to retire from the FAA, but it was made for me, so I accept it, and I'm going to do what I can with it, right? I didn't ask to have to take care of my parents. I chose to take care of my parents because I didn't want to see them live the way that they were living. I chose everything that has happened to me, right? Everything that I've gone through, I chose in some way, shape, or form. Right? And I think we all do in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And you just have to accept that you did it. However it came about, that's the result of your choice.
If you could, last question, and then I'll let you even close out with Save 22, however you want to close.
Oh, man.
Shout out, whatever you want to shout out. But last question for me. If you could leave everybody with one thing, one piece of advice, one heartfelt saying, whatever you feel, what would it be? If you could give advice, if you could just leave somebody with something. If they ain't get nothing else from this, they ain't watched the whole video, I could make a clip out of it. What do you want people to know? What do you want them to understand?
There's 3 lines. 3 lines. One's from Trisha. Don't confuse contentment with being lazy, right? And then Dave Cryer told me, if you don't listen for the whispers, all you'll hear is the screams.
Yeah, that's good.
And this one's going to be tough. We'll get through it together. That's what I think people should hear, is we'll get through it together. And that came from Dave Coxon, who drove an hour and a half the day after my suicide attempt to just give me a hug.
Wow.
And that's what he told me. And he's right. He's right. We got through it together. It might not be him that got me through it, but I got through it with somebody else. I didn't do it by myself, right? There's a whole group of people around me, a whole group of people. It's not a lot, but it's a good group of people. And I realized who I can talk to and what I can talk to them about. And I realized who I should be listening to and who I shouldn't be.
Wow.
Don't take advice from people you wouldn't take criticism from.
That's good.
Right?
I've never heard that one. That's good.
Yeah, so I'm not going to listen to the guy on the street who just told me what to do, right? And I'm not going to listen to a car mechanic tell me how to build a deck. am going to listen to a carpenter who's got experience building 1,000 decks on how to build my deck. I'm not going to let him tell me how to fix my car, right? So why should I listen to somebody who wants to critique my life or my choices, who didn't live my life or make my choices? I'm going to listen to the guys that have been there, done that, and have made it through it. All right, bro, how'd you do it? Well, that's what I did when I did the alcoholism, right? I didn't know how to stop drinking, so I went to AA. I thought they were going to teach me how to stop drinking. No, you got to figure that part out on yourself, right? I didn't know how to fly. I went to school.
Yeah.
They taught me, right?
You don't know how to live?
Don't know how to
Go
live.
around people
Go around
who are
people
living.
Who are living. You got to go around the people that are living. You got to get out. You got to go be uncomfortable because you don't know what could happen. You don't. You don't have a crystal ball for tomorrow. You don't have a crystal ball for the next 5 hours. You don't. You don't know what's going to happen. Acceptance, bro. Acceptance.
No.
That was a little bit more than one line of advice.
No, that was good.
I
That
don't
was
just
good.
have one line of advice.
We did the advice. You gave the one-liners. We just continue to talk, and that's what all this is for. So now it's up to you, man. I don't make this about me. We don't close with the least likely and all that stuff. We close with, if you want to shout out Save 22. If not, we'll end with the one-liners.
You know, Save 22 is an incredible organization. There's 22,000 nonprofits, veteran nonprofits registered in the United States. Save 22 is one that is actually doing things, right? We are making ourselves available. We are putting ourselves out there. We are letting people know it's okay to not be okay, right? There's still things that you can come to. You can still contribute. You can still get that camaraderie. You can still feel that brotherhood. And we provide opportunities to do that through motorsports. We did a golf outing last weekend. They did a motorcycle poker run last weekend. There were a couple car shows down in the Carolinas, right? We have partnerships with hunting and fishing agencies that are nonprofits, so at no cost to the veteran, they can go out and go fishing and hunting, camping. The racetrack is just one of them. That's the one that I'm involved in. And you know, it's NHRA, it's NASCAR, it's possibly IHRA throughout the year. It's local track stuff. It's ARCA series, ASA, dirt late models. Like golf, you can get out anywhere, you know. And while it's only a couple guys at a time, look, man, those are impactful moments, right? Like, what if I had said no to go to that outing at Mid-Ohio, right? What if I had said no? What if I listened to the devil inside me, or that demon inside me that says you're going to have a shit-ass time because you don't know anything about Indy cars? What if I'd have listened to him?
Yeah.
Right? What if I'd have listened to that demon and ended my life? Right? What would that have done to my family? Right? What would I have shown? What would I have? How could I speak on my brothers and what sacrifice and honor that they served with that are no longer here if I chose to end it myself too? Right? I told you, man, I don't ask anybody to do anything I'm not willing to do myself. And there's not a whole lot I'm not willing to do. Right? Like,
that was good.
I'm just slowing down now. Right? I'm just slowing down.
That was great, man. That was great.
Thanks, buddy.
I love how you just ended that. And there's not a lot that I'm not willing to do. Thank you for your time today. Can't thank you enough. I'm so happy I've met you. So happy that, you know, this ain't it. Cameras ain't it. That I'm gonna get to continue to do life with you, man, and keep in contact with you.
You're gonna come around. You're gonna come around. You're gonna go meet some pretty incredible people, bro. Right? And I hope I can introduce you to your one, right? The one that makes you, I hope you make it. I really do.
Thank you.
You're already making it. I want you to know that, right? I want you to get your dream, whatever that is. If it's this one show, then hey, it's this one show. Great, you did it. Thank you for getting my story out, right? If you move on and you go do big things, I'll be so proud of you. You can say that, man, I knew him when we sat in his garage and he gave me a chance, right? He didn't know me from Adam. So for people that don't know, your wife took care of me in recovery from my spinal procedure a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I don't know what I said. I was kind of drugged up on Versed, but it must have made an impact because she took my card and she handed it straight to you, and you called me before I was even home. It made an impact. Somehow, what I said impacted someone to impact somebody else. That's what life is. So say yes to the chance. I'll give you a shot. What's it going to hurt? I don't know. We'll find out. More to come, right?
More to come.
More to come.
I appreciate you, man.
Oh, man, thank you.